went back to Buffalo, and so I'm batching it now. And I had to break down and go to the grocery on my own with a list. And I bought whatever I wanted. And then I realized the power that credit card had, and so I got online, I ordered me shoes, I ordered this. That'll keep her down, don't wait again. But at the grocery yesterday, I saw a car, it was parked right next to me, little bitty sporty thing, with a bumper sticker. And then I told the guy what it had meant to me, and he was this cute African-American fellow, scrawny. I think he needed to go in the store again, but he said, I'm a nurse, and I've learned this to nurse. And the bumper sticker said, aphasia, lack of language, not intellect. That's one of the hardest pieces my sister Ellen has suffered from since her stroke. Aphasia. It's the inability to speak. She has thoughts and ideas in her head, but she can't get the words out. It sounds something like when they put me on the phone to her, excruciatingly painful for her. It's also hard to hear. Her other issues are she cannot swallow or eat. She can't feel the food in her mouth. She can't walk or balance. She can't remember day to day what's going on. She remembers us. She remembers things from the past. But every day her therapy is a brand new session. We do not know if Ellen will come back as Ellen. Now let me tell you about my sister. She was the pretty one. Bright smile, beautiful curly kinky hair, fun. She was always scheming some fun thing we'd all do. Let's all get together and go do this. Let's all, right, Ellen, you're scheming again. She was the keeper of our family traditions. All of my mother's recipes are in her hand. She was creative. She could make and do anything. She's a great cook. She's joyful. She was loyal. She was the one, years before I told my parents that I was a lesbian. Ellen was the one I told. She was dependable. She was always there for me. She's just one of the neatest people you'd ever meet, and she's just so darn lovable. Everybody that met her loves Ellen. They like Sara, but they loved Ellen. Her stroke has impaired her so greatly, she may never be Ellen that I know again. I know how this has affected me. I cannot even talk to her because I cry and I want to just scream. How can this be? How can this happen? What is this like for her to be trapped inside herself like that? Now, I don't ask why this happened because I don't find that very helpful. I know why. A clot went from her heart to the back of her brain and it collapsed her main artery, and her part of her brain died. It may never come back to life. Plus, I don't ever ask why would God do that. It's terrible theology. I don't believe God causes such things. God doesn't zap people. So asking why this would happen to Ellen is not helpful. Rather, I think what we should focus on is, what are we going to do? How does Ellen and her family put the pieces of her life back together? How can I help do that? Anne Lamott agrees. And if you've not read the first chapter in this little book, you're behind. Go home and read it. I'm summing it up for you right now. In our little summer book, Lamott is a truth teller. And some of us don't want to hear the truth. Like, Golly, it's so depressing. You ever say, I don't want to read it. I just want to read happy stuff. Really? And what's your life like today? Suffering happens globally, regionally, in a city, in a bar, in a nightclub, in a home. To you personally, suffering is real. But some people know suffering better than others. It lives within all of us. But nobody can escape the touch of tragedy, of hurt, of hardship. Suffering is just part of life. Now, one of the questions Lamont's asking, is there meaning in suffering? And I'm going to tell you my answer. No, there's not. There's just reality. It just is. The meaning is getting back to the business of living after a tragedy. After you've experienced the hard edges of life. After you've helped someone else maybe get through theirs. The meaning comes from, as Lamont uses the metaphor, stitching our life back together. Step by slow step. The stories of life's hardships are not new. It is our very faith story. This is why I push you to not just go from Palm Sunday parade to the joy of Easter morning. You must walk through Good Friday. Do I say that because it's our faith story? Yes, you need to know it. But also because we live it. It is our story. This is why we still gather strength from it. And Lamont puts out the formula. Life, death, resurrection, hope. Now, I want to clear up because a lot of people jump when they see resurrection. Please know what I mean by that. I don't think Jesus got up and walked around after he was killed. He died. He was killed. But by resurrection, for me, it's a new reality after death. Jesus' early followers hit the bottom of their world. Everything fell apart. But because Jesus' presence was so strong with them, they somehow managed, holding on to one another. And with that God Spirit that blew in on Pentecost, they kept them going, and they started this thing called the church. They stitched their life back together. And out of that has come a source of our life. Now, all of us, since Jesus, death can be literally someone dying. How much death many of us have experienced this year. But also sometimes it's a devastation so deep and so hard you feel like you died. Resurrection happens when we figure out how to hold the fabric of our lives together. Even though what that life may look like is altogether new, different. It's not resuscitated, it's resurrected. It's new. But resurrection gives us hope that life will keep going. Life, death, resurrection, hope. But we forget that formula, don't we? What do we do when tragedy strikes? When we ache so much in the middle of the night we can't sleep. When life just grinds you down and you are ready to give up. When the bank forecloses. When the adulterer confesses. When the divorce papers are signed. When the diagnosis is uttered. When your cupboard is bare. When our life did not go as planned. When that dark night of the soul overtakes us. What do we do? What do you do? Now, not all of us have had a tragedy. Some of us are just worn down on the edges a bit. Thank you, lucky stars. But I've thought about the people in our congregation. You don't have to raise your hand, but you know. These are the things I know you've dealt with. Cancer. Death of someone you love deeply. Illness. Illness that resides in someone's mind and affects everything else. Broken hearts, broken promises, failures, lack of resources, disappointments in your children, crime, and just plain old depression. Now, we can act like nothing is ever wrong. We can spend all of our time asking why. We can put our head in the sand and act like everything's always okay. Somebody said, Reverend Sarah, your glass isn't half full, it's overflowing. Not always. It takes work to get there. We can blame others. We can blame ourselves. Y'all are running around black and blue all the time, blaming yourself. We can blame God for whatever has tripped us up. I especially don't agree with blaming God. It seems like suffering creates terrible theology. Oh, it was God's will. Nonsense! God wants us to live. God's trying to teach us something. Well, now this isn't the kind of God I want to follow. I've got enough character. I don't need lessons. It makes God arbitrary and capricious. God does not make us suffer. God is with us in our suffering. We are organic bags of water with some chemicals thrown in, and we are susceptible to diseases. Period. We have to live with the consequences of decisions we make. Decisions other people make. Hey, that's okay. Hey, we got Sunday school right in the back, all the way down the hall. Perfect. Sometimes there are forces bigger than us. You think God caused the Kohlers to lose their home in the flood because of Hurricane Sandy? No, Hurricane Sandy. Hot air, make cold air, we had a mess. And Herb's house was in the way. And it was horrible. But don't blame God for things we don't understand. And I do think sometimes we just have plain old bad luck. Sometimes we just do. But it's a great story about someone that has wrestled. He's one of our forefathers, Jacob. But let me tell you about Jacob. Jacob, the name means scoundrel, and he was a scoundrel. He had cheated Esau out of his birthright, out of all of his inheritance, and he was limping back home because he was getting ready to see his long-lost brother. Now let's think about how he felt. How many people avoid going back and seeing their siblings because of something you or they did? I must raise my hand. Right. He had guilt. He had fear. He had anxiety. He had that dark night of the soul. And so in our beautiful story, they called it, he wrestled with God. All night. You ever done that? Had that dark night of the soul? And the bed covers every which way because you are tossing and turning and wrestling. Wrestling. The text tells us with God. I think it's wrestling with life. Wrestling with the suffering. Wrestling with the things you did or someone did to you. Well, so Jacob said, I ain't letting go. No, I'm going to ask your name. God didn't give the name. See, you don't always know why something bad happens. We don't always know the source of our wrestling. Sometimes it just is. But Jacob held on. He would not let go. Then he said, okay, fine, I'll at least get a blessing. We don't know how that blessing worked out on face value. The only thing we know is his name was changed. Something happened to Jacob that night, and he went from being Jacob the scoundrel to Israel, one who has striven with God and humanity and prevailed. You see, dealing with the hand that life deals you will change you. It might even change your very identity. You ask Russ, Peter, John, Dennis, me, our friends over there, when we wrestled with who we are, our identity changed. I became healthier, whole. I didn't lie and change pronouns. I didn't make up stories of where I went on holidays. But my identity was changed because I had wrestled. Oh, and one more thing about Jacob. If you hear that story, God whacked him so hard on his hip joint that from then on, he limped. You see, holy wrestling can leave you scarred. You might never be the same. But Jacob, Israel, he knew what Anne Lamott knows. That regardless of how we face and how we fare when life slams us to the curb, we must start to live again. And we must start where we are. Israel, the next morning, he started at the wrestling spot. He built an altar so he would never forget what happened there. And then, as the sun rose, he went and mended fences with his brother. So what do we do when the dark nights hit? On page 14, Lamott simply says, we do what we can as well as we can. What we can as well as we can. We cannot fix everything. We don't have to. We're not the Savior of the world. We have one. It's not you. It's not me. Few of us are called to do big things, but we're all called to do something. We can all do what we can do. That's what she means when she talks about sewing one stitch at a time. Just so we can put that one little piece of our life together, put one little piece of someone else's life together. I cannot fix my sister. I wish it had been me. I don't have 4 children that depend on her. But I can't do anything about it. So I listen to her son Reed cry because he cannot hear his mother's voice. I help her daughters sort out their lives and what dress to wear to prom or what to do about this boy. Like, that's not really my expertise, but I'm listening. And then when they send us a video and there's a person in front of her and there's a person in back of her, they have a belt on her and her these bionic leg things to make her legs work, and she's just holding on to those bars for dear life, but she takes a step. I cheer for her because she took a step. We cheer for every step someone else makes. I cannot bring back those 49 of my brothers and sisters that were mowed down by a barrage of bullets in Orlando. I can't do that. But I can work for smarter regulations on weapons that were used to kill them. I can open people's minds and hearts about what gay folks are really like. I can give Peter and Russ and other gay folks a church to call home. I can expose people to what Islam really is. I can introduce you to my Muslim friends whose religion, whose very faith is being hijacked by madmen. I can do that. I cannot fix what is ever going on in your life. But I can promise you this. I will walk with you every step of the way. I will not shrink from talking about hard things in front of our congregation. I will continue to raise issues of suffering. I will make us face the pain of life, because that is the only way you get to the joy of it. That's how my glass is full. I will keep pushing us to stand with those who are hurting, to have the courage to walk with them through the raw crucible of pain. I will help us learn how to be compassionate enough to get down on the floor and clean up the blood. And I will give you hope that we can do it. I will bear witness that life can and should and will go on. It will. For we are all Jacob. And so we grab at whatever threads we have of our former life, after we're hit where it hurts, after our wrestling match, we grab those threads and we tie a knot together. We make a stitch together. And we hang on, because morning will come.